Welcome to Malvern Books, and we are so happy to have tonight the launch of Amanda Johnston's book. So thank you for being here, and we are just really excited that you chose to spend your evening with us. First up, I'm going to welcome Ms. Lisa Elmore. She's the author of the chapbook 24 Hours of Men. She teaches English and Women's and Gender Studies at the University of Texas at Austin. Please welcome Lisa. Woo!
Hi everybody, thank you so much for being here. It is just always such a pleasure and honor to read with my old friend Amanda, who really has been an inspiration to my own poetic practice for probably 10 years. And I really want to just thank Malvern Books for the space they create for literature and especially for poetry. So this is my new chapbook, 24 Hours of Men. This is not the launch of my chapbook, but I don't have any for sale tonight because my shipment from my press didn't come in time. But I do have a list. You can just write down your name and address, and I'll mail you one. I bet they're at my house by now. Probably came like by FedEx right after I left. So I'll read a few poems from 24 Hours of Men, but I'm going to start with some newer poems. This is one that I have not had a chance to read, but I think that Cheney was with me when I wrote it here in Malvern Books. Sometimes my weekly writing workshop meets here at that table, and so that's another way in which Malvern just absolutely incubates the poetry scene here in Austin. So this is called At the Poet's Bookstore. The tin heart, 4 feet wide and ringed by glowing light bulbs, 2 on the nose. Whether owing to the sweat beneath my dress, my failings, numerous, in love, or decor sailing too close to IKEA irony, I prefer the tulip pot. Less shiny, no less fake, of course. The flowers are made of silken wire, although they still persuade. From the ceiling pipes depend a range of lampshades. They're IKEA too. It's strange to see my bliss, confusion, apathy, self-hate, dread, dreams, and curiosity light the room for others. It is darker in the corners, where a rhyming worker grabs the chairs to start the ritual reading. The corners they've been stacked in are left bleeding. We dig our fingers into polished oak. The pirate hanged at rope's end, not a joke. Thank you, Malvern Books, that is for you. So I'll just read a poem that is coming out in this summer's Nimrod International Journal. I really like to try to write poems that capture my experience of the divine, which tends to be kind of rude and hilarious. And I don't see a lot of that in poems about people's spiritual practice or spiritual paths. But for me, it's just so important. That's what humanizes it, is just how you can be meditating and see something that's just ridiculous or hilarious, or get an insight that's so banal it's profound. So this is a sestina that's about going to yoga and then coming back to watch my dog while I meditate. It's called Poison Can Be a Pig. The flowers are guarded by a smoke-breathing dog. The wood statue is smooth after centuries of adoration. Rub the statue's head, heart, loins, and then your own. At the back of the skull lies a small muscle. Tip your chin, grasp your pate, and pull to stretch it. My dog does not look comfortable, is perfectly relaxed. He breathes with his whole body, ribs relaxed, the incarnation of divinity as dog. To intuit the truth is not to stretch it. This ease is sought with every adoration. For this, I work the spiritual muscle. The love I seek turns out to be my own. Sometimes what looks like rest, I own, is just indifference. Sometimes what looks relaxed is ignorance. Some ignorance is just the pulled muscle of stupidity. You'd be stupid to poison my dog. poison can be a pig. It's not worth adoration. A pig might bite a cock's tail just to stretch it. The cock might swallow a snake, might stretch its neck out to transcend its cocky state, its own occipital exercise in adoration. A midlife crisis, perfectly relaxed. Wiser, though, to take it from the dog. Breathe with the whole diaphragmatic muscle. The wooden statue doesn't move a muscle, yet sees you still. Rub your palm across, stretch it over the pebbled headdress. You'll grin like a dog, a moment you can have but never own, in which you find yourself shockingly relaxed, your quivering hand the object of adoration. The portal's open to that adoration. Like any other practice, faith's a muscle. It sneaks up when the busy mind's relaxed, a moment's moment. All you do to stretch it, the sages say, is know it's not your own. This wisdom brought to you by the breath of dog. There's a door in adoration. Every being has the power to stretch it open. Even the pig has the muscle to reclaim its own antidote, to leave the snake relaxed, to breathe like a dog. You guys have got more. This is a poem that I wrote after having an amazing opportunity to take a walking tour of the Bronzeville neighborhood in Chicago and see the amazing murals by African American artists that date back to the 1920s in that historic neighborhood. And of course, as a poet, it means a lot to me because Bronzeville is the neighborhood that Gwendolyn Brooks wrote about. And her volume, A Street in Bronzeville, came out in 1945 and just revolutionized the sonnet and American poetry. And then later, Kaveh poets like Amanda invented this form called the golden shovel, which is a tribute essentially to Gwendolyn Brooks, but a way of writing a poem that is a tribute to other poets by writing a poem where the last word of every line comes from a line from the poet that you want to honor. So I wrote a poem that's a golden shovel for Gwendolyn Brooks, and it takes as its the last word of every line, 2 lines from her double sonnet poem called Gay Chaps at the Bar. So the Gay Chaps at the Bar lines are, and we knew beautifully, knew to give to women the summer spread, the tropics left of our love. A church in Bronzeville, a golden shovel for Gwendolyn Brooks. My cupped hands full of honey, and you can't see it there, but it's not a metaphor. We all come to a point like an artichoke heart. We knew how to pour warm, sticky divinity beautifully into our hearts. How we knew is how we knew throb, throb, yum is the soundtrack to honey, glistening gift of bees still living. How we knew to give divinity pulled up from the bowl of the pelvis to flavor the point of the artichoke heart above our single head. Women and men breathing together, walking together. We entered the place made sacred, and we were cold. It was not summer. The place was made sacred by angels dark as chestnuts spread across the nave, behind the altar, carved into the doors. Yum, yum, throb, scrivened into wood from the tropics. Yum, yum, throb, dropped into my hollow head. Today, we are all that is left of the 9,000 who once worshipped here. Our artichoke attention, our gift, our sticky divinity, our love. So that one is coming out in a new journal called Hair Streak Butterfly Review later this summer, and this is the last poem I'll read before turning to the chapbook for a poem or two. It's also going to be in Hair Streak Butterfly. It's a beautiful new journal. I recommend it. It comes out from Colorado College. This is just a short lyric called Hyacinth. Not even the small violets that skinned her round brown foot against the sides of a pot too small can restrain the violet décolletage that froths above her corseted green gown. So I'll just read a couple from here and then turn it over to the headliner. So 24 hours of men I joke that this is my book of lesbian poems about men. I have 2 teenage sons. Their bio dad, who we're also very close to, was in a terrible car accident 4 days after Trump was elected. And when I looked back at the writing I had done over last winter, I realized it was just 24 hours of that. So we ended up taking care of John in our home. And so I wrote, as it turns out, a lot of poems about everybody from Trump and the Pope to my beloved children and close friends and yoga mates. And let's face it, the guy in my workplace who was undergoing an investigation for sexual harassment this year. Poem I wrote instead of listing the names of every boy and man who was assaulted or harassed me. I need a poem like an ice pick. Like an ice pick needs a fish, a nice slithery target below the thick frozen layer holding its dead sticks. I wear outrage like a hair shirt, scary and close to the skin. Prickles covering the zipper down the back, which I can't reach anyway. Everyone knew, including you. Some kept secrets, others spoke up, and these were identical gestures in that they changed nothing. When the ice melts, it releases 1,000-year diseases, and those might kill us before the living water sets us free. I need a poem like a neutron bomb, flooding cells on a mitochondrial level, lighting up neural pathways and epidural channels, bloom after bloom, touching everything. I'll just read one more. I think that one more will be Lionheart. So this is a villanelle. This is for my friend John, already dead. Lionheart. Silent, you seem to ask what lies upon my heart, lion-hearted man. I meet your battered eyes over ER medics practicing their art. The room is full of bodies. Everybody tries to breathe with you. Surgery pushed your ribs apart to mend your torn up lungs, reduce their swollen size. The lion's breath I pull with my own muscled heart might keep you from dying. I hear breaths that rise from my uncrushed lungs, doing what you aren't. A startling roar resounds. The floor shakes, giving rise to a hot wind through the room, lighting a spark that starts the bellows of my ribs, your broken ones likewise, knit in healing unison. The nurse's cart beeps. The spirometer's number starts to rise to 1,500. Holds there. Hear my hero, sweetheart, your brand new breath and mine in mystic counterpoint.